what appeared to be only a 12-foot ledge was actually a gigantic wall that once towered 30 feet above the desert.
Now, you don't build a 26-foot high gateway so men can go to work every day. This is a border, and this is the entrance to something really powerful. And what's really powerful are the pyramids, the tombs, and the temples, the tombs of the elite. And we think that the wall defines a border between all of that, the sacred, the stone, and everything here to the south, which is mud, stone rubble, and the secular support for everything north of the wall. And more I'm convinced this was in fact downtown Egypt during the time the pyramids were built.
The wall separated this downtown area where workers lived from their sacred worksite. Through the huge gateway lay a harbor, the center of activity for the entire plateau.
At a harbor, they're certainly unloading the stone, they're unloading the people that they're bringing from the provinces for labor, but they're also unloading all the goods and commodities that came from all those new farms and ranches and cities, towns that were established for feeding the pyramid complex. For the first time, they were gathering people together, not in terms of hundreds, but suddenly in terms of thousands or tens of thousands.
To the edge of the desert, these masses came to make burial tombs for their kings, skyscrapers that would dwarf anything yet built by man. The building techniques were ingenious, but mysterious even today. How did workers lift these huge stones 40 stories high? Many scholars believe they used giant ramps that spiraled up the sides of the unfinished pyramid to move the blocks to the top.
We would have seen hundreds, if not thousands of men, organized probably into teams of 10 or 20, pulling 2.5-ton blocks on large wooden sleds up the long ramp. There would have been a cacophony of sounds. You would have heard the clink-a-chink of stonemasons cutting the stones, tool sharpeners sharpening the copper chisels, and probably the chanting of thousands of men. They had to be doing this in a real rhythm if they put one block in place every 2.5 minutes.
Even as a picture of the ancient construction site emerges, another important mystery remains. Where did all this limestone, more than 15 million tons, come from? For centuries, a popular myth held that the stone came from a faraway quarry. But Dr. Lehner suspected there had to be a much closer source. For insights, he looked to a modern quarry, where limestone cutting goes on pretty much as it did in 2500 BC. Quarrymen dig long channels as a first step in breaking out giant limestone blocks. If channel marks like these could be found near the pyramids, they'd pinpoint a closer source of stone. Back at Giza, just 300 yards from the base of the largest pyramid, Lehner found what he was looking for: the telltale shape of a channel.
You can actually see the quarryman's pick mark in vertical striations coming down. And he was in here probably alone with lots of dust and chips flying all over the place with his pick, hacking his way through this giant rectangle of limestone bedrock.
Finally, Dr. Lehner had some proof. The stone came from right here, a quarry within sight of the Great Pyramids.
And you can see one edge of the quarry over there, the rock edge, just showing above these massive piles of debris. And if you draw a circle with your eye around the horizon and come over to this sheer rock face, that's the entire outline of the Khufu quarry. The amount of stone missing equals the amount of stone in the pyramid of Khufu, and the sides of the quarry line up with the Khufu pyramid.
Generations missed the quarry because it was filled in with strange debris. Lehner believes this rubble is all that's left of the pyramid construction ramps. When their work was finished, the builders tore down the ramps and dumped the remains here in the quarry.
We're looking at what the pyramid ramps were built out of, just piles and piles of this limestone dust, and then they put up a retaining wall of mud and clay. And this stuff as a whole, you know, is extremely solid. But when you want to take it apart, it really comes apart nicely with a pick and into its constituent parts. So this is essentially what the pyramid ramps must have been built out of, because this is what's here. Tons, millions of tons of this stuff.
Even as we solve the mysteries of how the tombs of the three pharaohs were constructed, scientists and laymen alike are still in awe of the scope of this ancient undertaking. Mark Lehner's discoveries here may help put to rest some of the more far-fetched theories.
It's, for me, much more mysterious and intriguing that the culture ruled by Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure built these rather than some cop-out, you know, which is what, you know, the extraterrestrial option is. It's a cop-out. Well, we don't know how they did it. It was built by somebody else. First of all, it's sort of colonialist to say that somebody else, some other civilization that's missing, built them. But also, I think it really doesn't tap the human mystery of how they were built with so much suffering, with so much dedication, by the people that we know lived here, by the people in the tombs that were buried around here, by the people who were making bread down in our bakery.
The ancient Egyptians expressed devotion to their kings with their labor and their lives. Today, thanks to the work of Mark Lehner and Zahi Hawass, we have an idea of what the plateau looked like when the monuments were new.
You entered the pyramid from the Valley Temple, a quarter of a mile down from the base of the pyramid. You went up this long covered corridor, which had a narrow shaft of light coming in. It was very dim and it was dark. And all of a sudden you emerged onto this open courtyard, which was paved with white alabaster. And your eyes by now were very used to the darkness. You came out to this blinding light off this white alabaster floor. You were surrounded by these colossal statues of the king that were in this dazzling light. I'm sure it was very inspiring on a national level.
Though the work here is far from over, the University of Chicago team must head home until next year. For both the Americans and the Egyptians, it has been an extraordinary season of discovery. As these workers celebrate what they've accomplished, they join in spirit the stonemasons and architects of antiquity. The next age of explorers will marvel at the work of ancient and 20th century craftsmen alike. Tens of thousands of workers have passed through here, and each has left a mark on eternity.